Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today, we are launching a closer look at a company that really sums up the modern investing challenge, doesn't it? You've got this explosive growth potential, but it's tied to some, well, pretty dizzying volatility. We are talking about CoreWeave, the AI infrastructure and GPU cloud computing player.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one. CoreWeave is, right in the middle of this whole AI boom. They're providing that specialized compute power that, well, everyone needs now. Startups, big enterprises, you name it.
So our main goal today, our mission, is really focused. We're looking at the latest market analysis, these huge growth projections, and what's coming up soon, corporate news, institutional moves, and asking, is CoreWeave actually a compelling buy right now? Do the fundamentals really back up the current price? Or is this, maybe a classic volatility trap waiting for investors?
That's the core tension. Exactly. You absolutely have to look at those historical swings on the chart, and they have been pretty brutal at times. But weigh that against the undeniable, massive growth expected in this whole sector. CoreWeave is right there, positioned to grab a piece of it. We need to dig past the headlines a bit and figure out what really supports the long-term view.
Okay, before we jump into the charts and the numbers, we want to hear from you, our listeners. Please take a second, subscribe, like this analysis if you find it useful. And definitely, if there's a specific company you want us to take a look at in the future, drop it in the comments below. We really do look at those when planning our research. All right, let's unpack the recent past first. If you've been keeping an eye on CoreWeave, the last 3 months or so, well, they haven't exactly been smooth. Midsummer, in particular, was a real roller coaster. Tested a lot of investor nerves, I bet.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking about July 2025. Just intense, really sustained selling pressure. Over just a couple of weeks, the stock price tanked. A really sharp drop, 8.12%. That's a huge move in that kind of time frame, especially for a stock with this kind of profile.
And there was that one day, right, where the fear really peaked. July 25th, it hit a low of $115.62. But the key thing wasn't just the price. It was the volume. 3 million shares changed hands that day. That's not normal trading. That signals, forced selling panic.
Exactly right. You clearly had big positions either just giving up, capitulating, or maybe hitting stop losses all at once. And when you look at the chart pattern around then, the technical sentiment just flipped almost overnight. By late July, early August, most technical systems were flagging CoreWeave as a sell candidate.
Oh, right.
The short-term outlook looked weak, and honestly, the risk-reward at $115 just wasn't attractive if you were trading based on momentum. That kind of sell-off can take a while to recover from.
But then it did recover, and the rebound tells a completely different story. By the time September came around, the momentum had totally swung the other way. The recovery was pretty aggressive, strong. Seems like it was fueled by fresh optimism about Q3 earnings and just the general AI story picking back up.
Yeah, it really speaks volumes about the underlying belief in the company's future potential, Even when the short-term chart was basically screaming, danger. And by October 15th, that strong recovery pushed the close back up to $139.24. This turnaround, it wasn't just random market noise. It suggests that serious money started moving back in, recognizing that the long-term bullish idea, the core story, was still intact despite that summer dip.
Right, and that long-term narrative, that's where we need to spend some real time because It's built on some truly explosive fundamentals. We have to understand why the big institutions seem willing to put up with that kind of wild ride.
Well, the why is that growth trajectory. It's just phenomenal, really. If you look at the projections analysts are using, the numbers they're basing their valuations on, they expect CoreWeave's revenue to climb from, $5.26 billion this year, 2025, to a staggering $25.8 billion by 2029.
Wow.
Yeah. We're talking about roughly 5 times growth in just 4 years. This kind of aggressive compounding growth, that's the main thing driving all the long-term optimism you see.
Okay, those numbers are huge, but they don't mean much if someone else can just come along and eat their lunch, competitively speaking. Mm-hmm. So what's CoreWeave doing differently? What makes analysts think they can capture that market share? What's their competitive moat?
The moat really comes down to specialization. That's the key. CoreWeave isn't trying to go head-to-head with the big guys, Amazon, AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud on just general cloud stuff. Instead, they've carved out a dominant spot in these highly specialized, high-performance computing workloads, specifically the GPU cloud market, optimized for large-scale AI training and inference.
Ah, okay. So they're not just renting out servers, they're providing these like custom-built AI accelerator clusters. How does that create a barrier, though?
Exactly. Their tech, their whole setup is engineered for better performance, lower latency, better price performance for those specific AI tasks than you might get from a more general provider. They build these clusters specifically around NVIDIA chips and AI workflows. That's actually hard to replicate quickly and efficiently. Plus, analysts point to strong brand credibility, especially among the AI developer crowd, and crucially, what they call sticky enterprise contracts.
Sticky.
Yeah, meaning contracts where clients really integrate CoreWeave deep into their core R&D. Switching providers becomes really expensive, really time-consuming, a big hassle.
Okay, that makes sense. So customers aren't just renting space, they're buying into a whole optimized ecosystem.
Oh,
But this brings us to maybe the biggest risk factor, the thing that makes traditional finance folks a bit nervous. We've got amazing revenue projections, a strong tech advantage. But what about the actual financial health, the profitability?
right. And this is the really critical piece you have to understand if you're considering investing. While those top-line revenue forecasts look fantastic, specific numbers for traditional profitability metrics, well, they're currently listed as NA, not publicly verifiable in filings, at least as of mid-October 2025. We're talking about things like detailed profit margins, verified free cash flow, specific debt levels like debt to equity, stuff value investors usually rely on.
Why is that? Why are those numbers missing? Is that normal for a company growing this fast, or is it something else, like a disclosure maybe?
It's often pretty characteristic of these hypergrowth companies. They're prioritizing reinvestment like massively. They're pouring cash into capturing market share, building out data centers, buying the latest, greatest hardware to stay ahead. Profitability disclosure might come second to that right now. So as an investor, you're essentially being asked to rely pretty heavily on those analyst projections, on the competitive moat story, and just trust that management strategy will eventually lead to big profits down the road. You're not buying proven cash flow today. You're buying, a bet on future market dominance.
Okay, that definitely changes the calculus. Since we can't really peek under the hood at the verified financials just yet, it forces us to look outward more, relying on external triggers, market sentiment, upcoming events for validation, which leads us straight into the upcoming catalysts, things that could really move CoreWeave's price, maybe very soon.
Yeah, the most immediate one is the Q3 earnings report. It's scheduled for either October 28th or 30th. And given that recent stock price rebound we talked about, expectations are, let's just say, sky high. Investors won't just want to see strong year-over-year growth. They'll be laser-focused on the updated guidance from management. What do they see for the rest of this year and looking into 2026? Any beat on guidance, especially, would be seen as a major validation.
Right. And beyond just the company's own report, we need to talk about the big players, the institutions. Retail investors might follow charts, but the really big money often follows institutional moves. Where should we look for signs of their confidence or lack thereof?
Okay, there are two key dates coming up that will reveal a lot about ownership shifts. First is November 15th. That's the deadline for the institutional 13F filings update. That's when we find out which major funds, hedge funds, mutual funds, pensions significantly increased, decreased, or maybe even started a new position in CoreWeave during all that recent volatility.
So that's kind of like a proxy vote of confidence, isn't it? If we see major respected funds piling in, it helps validate taking that risk on the balance sheet unknowns we just mentioned.
Absolutely, it's a big tell. The second date is December 1st. That's when the S&P and various ETF quarterly rebalancing happens. There's a lot of market chatter suggesting CoreWeave is a strong candidate for inclusion in some major tech indices or related ETFs. If that actually happens, index funds are basically forced to buy the stock automatically. That creates huge sustained buying pressure, almost regardless of the day's news.
And speaking of chatter, the rumor mill seems to be running overtime on this one, which, as we know, often drives a lot of the speculative buzz and the volatility too. What are the big rumors floating around right now?
Well, we can probably nail down 4 main speculative drivers that seem to be circulating on trading desks. First, there are these persistent rumors about a really significant, maybe game-changing collaboration with one of the big global cloud leaders that would instantly boost their scale and credibility.
Okay, what else?
Second, there's growing speculation about CoreWeave scaling up its data center footprint, maybe moving into new international markets, which, they'd almost have to do to hit those huge $25.8 billion revenue projections by 2029.
Makes sense.
Third, tying back to that December rebalancing, is just the general market talk about potential inclusion in those major tech indices or ETFs. If the rumors turn into reality there, the stock could move fast.
And the fourth, usually the biggest potential mover.
Yep, the M&A chatter. Unconfirmed, of course, but speculation about potential strategic acquisition interest from a larger tech firm. CoreWeave's specialized GPU stuff is pretty unique. You could see how they might be a tempting target for a giant looking to buy rather than build their way deeper into AI infrastructure.
Yeah, any one of those rumors actually turning into solid news could dramatically change the valuation picture overnight, couldn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, let's try and tie all this back together now. Look the technical picture again, and maybe craft a final investment thesis, or at least summarize the bull case. We know the summer was rough, technically, but is the current strength looking sustainable?
Technically speaking, the chart has actually repaired itself quite nicely since August. CoreWeave is undeniably in a strong bullish trend right now. You see it posting higher highs and higher lows consistently. And critically, it's trading comfortably above both its 50-day and 200-day moving averages. That's pretty much the definition of ongoing upward momentum for technical analysts.
And if that volatility does flare up again, where should investors look for support, like a confirmation that the base is holding?
The technical analysis suggests key support levels have firmed up around that $90 to $100 range. That area acted as a pretty strong floor for several weeks during the late summer turbulence. On the upside, resistance levels that used to be a ceiling around $120, $130, they've been broken pretty decisively. So the forecasted short-term bullish trading range right now seems pretty well established between, say, $100 on the low end and $140 on the high end.
And that range fits perfectly with the analyst view, doesn't it? We're seeing this really strong agreement among them, like 22 to 24 major analysts, all basically saying buy or strong buy. That's a rare level of conviction. It shows deep institutional belief in the whole sector story, even with those financial question marks we talked about.
Exactly. And the price targets back that up. Although the average target is around $125, $126, which, okay, the stock has already blown past the high-end target from some analysts is way up there, $200. That big gap shows you that while the consensus is definitely bullish, the top analysts see truly explosive, maybe even transformative upside if the company really executes perfectly on its growth plan.
Okay, so let's synthesize all this. We've looked at the recovery from that rough patch, the specialized competitive advantage, those huge revenue projections, the catalyst coming up. What's the final take?
Well, the overall investment thesis rating that seems to be consolidating around CoreWeave is strong, like a 9 out of 10. It seems to offer this really unique, compelling package. Good for short-term traders, maybe, looking to play those upcoming announcements, and also for long-term holders wanting to capitalize on the big structural tailwinds in AI. The potential return looks significant.
But the core takeaway, the central point, still seems to be this trade-off, right? CoreWeave offers that potentially explosive revenue growth, a strong market position. But that excitement comes with, well, heavy baggage, heightened volatility, and this significant reliance on analyst forecasts because we just don't have those granular, verifiable public financials yet, especially on margins and debt.
That is exactly the trade-off. You are absolutely betting on the future market position today.
Which brings us nicely to our final provocative thought, something for you, the listener, to mull over after this discussion. Given that those detailed balance sheet figures aren't publicly available right now, meaning we can't fully definitively measure the company's current financial strength or resilience, how much weight should investors put on those upcoming institutional 13F filings in mid-November? Should watching where the big money is going, assuming they maybe have better access to data through private channels, should that be treated as the best proxy we have right now for validating confidence in CoreWeave's finances and its aggressive growth strategy?
Yeah, consider those 13Fs. They might be the first really critical piece of verifiable data you get in the coming months. Could be the most important signal this quarter.
Something to think about. Thank you for joining us for this exploration of the sources on CoreWeave. We'll see you next time on Investing Talk Podcast.
Happy investing.